talk about Ontario. Okay, year over year. If we had a lot less people here, okay, and again, in Canada, an increase of 81,000, that's across the board. But in Ontario alone, we had a decrease of about, I'm reading off a graph here that doesn't have the exact number, about 50,000. Ontario, year over year, shrunk. What does this mean? We also had shrinkage in BC. Okay? Other places increased a little bit. Alberta had the biggest one, about 1.6. I don't have the exact breakdown of the graph here. Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Atlantic Canada, they still increased a little bit. Ontario and BC, arguably the two most challenged housing markets, decreased. Okay. Now, what does this mean for housing? It means a couple of things. Less people live here, there's less of a demand. That's why you now have that whole buyer's market that every real estate agent is like raving about, right? And probably mortgage agent as well, because it's true. It's a buyer's market, right? Buyer's market is determined generally by months of inventory. We all know that houses are sitting a lot longer. There's less of a demand. So you got less people living here. There's a less of a need for housing. And we can keep digging into the amount of inventory is also partially because there are a lot of investors getting out of the game. I used to do more investor mortgages than I care to even talk about. I can count, I got to take my socks off to count the number of folks that are unloading these rental properties because rents have also come down again. Most of the folks that are leaving Ontario are renters. That means there's less demand. That also means renters are not upgrading into houses to buy. You see where this cycle goes. So I can start calling out all these extra stats, stuff like that. We just have less folks here. Okay. So this is what's leading to all this. And so I think what we're going to see going forward into next year, 2026, which is like a few days away, we are going to see less demand for housing. There's going to be some balancing that's going to happen here. And that's okay because we have got a ton of pent up demand. I used this example a few weeks ago. I usually do my evening appointments on Tuesday. So a Tuesday night, I had like 6 or 7 appointments and 5 of them were like first time home buyers. 4 of them were all exceptionally well qualified. Like, I mean, very well qualified. All of them said the same thing. Yeah, we'll wait till next year. We'll wait till next year. Will we see a drop in house prices? Yeah, maybe. And listen, folks, I think if you're waiting for a $600,000 home to go to $300,000, no, I don't think that's going to happen myself. Will we see some decline? Yeah, maybe a little bit. Definitely geographically specific. The markets I work in, so Waterloo region, for example, they'll see a little bit more. I think we're pretty close to the darn bottom, I think. Down the 401, okay, so Woodstock, London, St. Thomas, even down a little bit further than that. Do I think that they're at the bottom? They already had their hit, in my opinion. Having said that, if it's stuff like student housing, because remember, now I'm going to bring up another issue. Let's talk about the folks at Conestoga right now. Very well documented. Staff layoffs everywhere because the international student tap has been shut off. So those houses, maybe they were modified, whatever, people are going to unload them. There could be some opportunity there, right? So I think you're going to see components of price drops. Listen, if you got a nice house in a nice area and it's well kept, you're fine. But the population part is definitely going to have an impact on a lot of this.